は僕をダメなやつと思う。鏡を見つめる僕を見下げているけど、中には大きな力希望がある。 Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. You can't escape. No one understood the world that I was making. Look me in the face and tell me I was faking. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn, your pawn, your pawn. My love was in it.
Welcome to the Monday stream. I think it's Monday. It was advised to me that it was Monday. I hope everyone's having had an awesome weekend. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Quad Bennett, welcome. Kirkenstein's Monster, Soul Life. Trevor Borens, welcome. John Lithium, welcome. I rated chat here and it's not live. It's all good. We're here. We're here. Appreciate everybody being here. Moanep, welcome. So check this stuff out, folks. Kablamo. Kablamo. We're here. Michael Hasser, welcome. Faux Machina, welcome. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're getting to that time, folks. Imagine that. Imagine getting to the time where you need glasses. Welcome. All right, folks. Today is going to be a short stream, folks, because didn't you always wear glasses? No, not real glasses. What I used to wear because for the same reason that I wear like actual glasses. I used to wear the blue light filter glasses because I work a lot staring at streams. That's partially true. But I work a lot staring at screens, and I wear the blue light filter glasses. But I went to the eye doctor, and apparently to lessen the strain because I have astigmatism, due to the same reason, right? I stare at screens all day, and then some. Due to the astigmatism, this should probably correct some of that and lessen the eye strain, supposedly. And incidentally, also this has blue light filter built in, so all of that is good to go. They look like they were supposed to be there. Yeah, I think I did wear my blue light glasses at some point, maybe. But yeah, eventually the real ones were needed. I have a good eye and I have a bad eye. I guess I need a monocle. Yeah, it's funny. My partner is like that. Although I don't know how much that has changed between the last time she had an eye exam till now. It was only on her right eye, I think it was what I remember. It's a good fit. Well, I appreciate that. We went through a couple of different stuff. I kind of like it. But again, these are my 8 to 10 hour glasses. And honestly, like I could tell the difference between like looking at stuff through the glasses and looking at stuff without it. I didn't realize like how it's not that my vision is like bad for so to speak. It's not that the vision is bad, but like I could see the difference now. Right? Like how clear it is versus without. It's interesting. Ladybug, welcome. I remember the first time I got glasses, I thought I could see. I mean, like it's like I can see. Like if I take off my glasses, I can see everything fine. I just didn't know how crisp it could be. I got to that time half a century ago. Bruno, welcome. Let's see. Yeah, Bruno, welcome. Ladybug, welcome. I don't know if I said hello. Yeah, your brain will blend the blur. It's an amazing little adaptation. Yeah. I was very surprised. I'm like, wow. I mean, I could see fine again. Like, there's no real. Technically, there's no like real big issue, but I work in front of a screen like all day, 8+ hours. And yeah, that definitely strains your eyes. And probably led to the astigmatism. So I'm probably gonna just try to wear the glasses as much as possible to lessen that. I imagine that wearing these glasses might help instead of just kind of powering through it. So, Mouse Lander, welcome. When will the Epstein files be released? Well, you can ask the GOP on that one. I may have to refer to you to the Republican Party for that one. I must admit, it does feel kind of weird. I guess there is an adaptation period, but whatever. Anyways, I should have had these things on. I'm still getting used to it. All right, folks, we got to get started because it's a short stream today. Are you going to the Mamdani event? No, we're gonna raid the Majority Report after this. The Majority Report is doing this. Is doing the event at 6:30, I believe. So we're just gonna raid straight into the Majority Report, and peace out at 6:30 because of this very thing, the Mamdani event. So I personally won't be covering it, but we're just gonna join in. We're just gonna hop in, and I'll go over to the Majority Report if you're on YouTube and you want to do that on the Majority Report side on YouTube or on the Majority Report side on Twitch. Either way. There's an old Simpsons joke about the glasses. I don't remember if it's Burns or Smithers who says it. Wait, which joke? That's a good emote. Speaking of emotes, I still have to work on. I still have to work on the cat emotes. Okay, yeah, I wish I could be there live or cover it, but no, I don't think I have that kind of energy, especially when there's like bigger channels that we can all just join in the fun. Sarah's welcome. Folks, before we get started, announcement again, this Saturday, October 18th is No Kings a Day. There's going to be another nationwide protest, folks. Once again, now is the time to join local organizations. Excuse me. Now is the time to get in the streets and protest. Okay? Now is the time to make your voice heard. Okay? Because there may come a time where we won't be able to do this. And I'm not speaking very hyperbolically. I don't feel like I'm speaking in a exaggerated tone. But there may come a time where we may not be able to speak freely. So in the meantime, while we can, join local organizations, protest if you can and if you're able. Get involved in whatever way that you possibly can. Okay, I understand that we all have different circumstances, but if there is something that you can do, whether it just be posting on social media, whether it be speaking live, whether it be attending protests, whether it be helping make protest signs, whether it be calling your representative every single day and urging them to vote against fascism. Whatever it is that you can do, whether it be anything from posting on social media to writing articles to making art to showing up on the streets to talking with family members, because every little thing that you do counts. Everything that you do, from talking to family and friends to if you're an organizer, to organizing, anything that you can do. Now is that time. Now is that time, folks, because there may be a time, not that it's written in stone, where we may not enjoy those freedoms, and it's up to us to fight for it, and to make sure that we can have those freedoms. Yes, make sure you buy your frog costume. My goodness, I love the frogs. They're multiplying too. The Portland frogs. Oh my god. I saw a picture of a bunch of Portland frogs, and it said the caption was together we ribbit, divided we croak. I'm so excited for the MR Mamdani event tonight. Yeah, there you go. We'll be raiding over. Trump will attempt at it with invoking the Insurrection Act with some phony excuse. He's just deciding which one to use. I'm not disputing that, and in fact, he's been trying to get a violent response by doing these increasingly aggressive maneuvers. By bringing in the National Guard, stuff like that, to exacerbate the situation. He wants a violent reaction. He's not getting it, so he's kind of just manufacturing nonsense, right? He's saying that, like, Portland's on fire, that there's insurrection happening. Not the case. Not the case at all. Wolfland, welcome. Trump's goal is to be president in 2029. Project 2025 carried out completely will have the U.S. under martial law. I don't disagree. I think that if in a perfect world for these people, I think that that's what they would like to do, and I think that they are moving at breakneck speed to try to make that happen. So this is exactly it. That is exactly it. Exactly the reason why I'm urging people that now is the time to stand up. Now is the time to speak. Now is the time to be to get on the streets. Now is the time to spread the word as much as possible, as far as wide, while we still can. Organize. Get to know each other. Get to know your neighbor. Collective action is what gets the goods. Direct action is what gets the goods. So while we can, I think that that is the play here. The Orange Madness actually thought he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. I think what's so absurd is that the person that won it was also equally just as absurd, dedicating the Nobel Peace Prize to Trump. Rousseau has never been more truthful than today. All right, folks, let's just kind of zoom by and get everything done. Thank you all. First and foremost, thank you all for being here. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. Check out the merch store. Do the ! Tip. Join the Discord, folks. I'm thinking of doing something for Halloween towards the end of the month. Incidentally, Halloween the 31st is a Friday. So maybe we can play the Nightmare Before Christmas or something. I don't know. It's been a minute and a half since I've been able to just like do something on the Discord server. So I might just end up just playing it. If anything, like, I like to watch that movie. I'd like to watch that movie anyways. So if you want to join in, you can. I'll put up some stuff there. Yeah, check it out over here. Do this too, folks. Okay, let's get started, folks. Didn't he just said that? Really? I thought I saw her speak on something. I thought I heard her like, because I couldn't believe it at first either. But I thought I heard her make a speech about it. I could be wrong though. I'll have to look into it. But I could have sworn I saw her make a speech about this. Not him. Like the actual lady. Um, she was the opposition leader of of Venezuela. Um, yeah, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure she made a speech about this. Cringy, 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 cringy. Because I genuinely couldn't believe it at first. Because Trump said it first, and I was like, no way, this is not, this is not, this can't be, this is absurd. We live in an absurd world. And then like I actually listened to the speech, and I was like, wow. Anyone here who's versed on a social contract? No, but I feel like I should know what that is. Oh, she was smooshing. It was tongue in cheek. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so that was my misinterpretation. Okay, understood. I mean, that would kind of make sense. Um, that would kind of make sense. In that perspective. Uh, because it sounds absurd, right? Like the whole thing sounds absurd. But yeah, from this perspective, that sounds a lot. That makes a lot more sense. The social contract. No, but I feel like I should know that. The social contract. Is this a book? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. The Rousseau. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pacifying the Orange Menace. The sense of trend, Nobel Peace Prize receivers in last year who are loud reactionaries. Rousseau. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Welcome, Carlos Strand. Welcome, welcome. Oh, it's my mom's birthday. Well, congratulations to Kirkenstein's uh monster's mother. Hold on. Sorry, none of this really works anymore, but hey, if I dressed up for Halloween, I went trick or treating, if people would actually give me candy or if they'd be spooked by a grown ass man knocking on their door. I mean, hey, don't knock it. Who cares? You know? You might bomb Argentina and steal the prize. Not an expert, but I am familiar. Yeah, no, I'm very, 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 very green when it comes to that. I know I've heard of this kind of stuff, but not in depth. I'm a bad son. Oh, funny enough, my mother's birthday is also coming up at some point soon. I should probably read. I should probably read it though. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Right now, I'm reading like just to get back into the groove. Because I haven't read in a minute. I'm reading this very, very, very small book on taxation and how like the basics of taxation works. It should be common sense. But I like to get a little more than just the basics. So it's like, again, this is not like a econ 101 word for word manual, but it does give you some basics here. And then I've got another book. One second. This one is The Four Futures: Life After Capitalism. Um, Another interesting book that caught my eye. So we'll just make our way slowly. Trying to get back into reading. It's not nations that should be sovereign, but people. I agree. Military coup in Madagascar. We have too many fascists. Yikes. Yikes. Speaking of the fascist mindset.
Mom, are you a fascist?
I don't think so.
Are you against fascism?
I would say yes.
Then you're Antifa. Dad, are you a fascist?
Like, see,
Wait,
that's the thing, right? Like, first of all, it shouldn't take you that long to make that determination, right? The fact that you have to sit and think about whether or not you are a fascist, if you have to think about whether or not you're a fascist, I think we're already we're already in the wrong. We're already starting off in the wrong step. I don't know, Soul Life. I don't know. Ask your doctor, okay?
Wait.
No,
Are you against fascism?
I'm a Republican.
Are
That's
you
not an
against
answer.
fascism?
Like, you see, like, these people's brains are so broken that, like, I'm a Republican. That's not the question. That is not the question. The question is whether or not you're a fascist. That also kind of puts into perspective, like, what the modern day Republican Party is, right? The modern day Republican Party is a fascist party. The Republican Party that we know, that we are seeing right now, is a fascist party. Manda, welcome. If you support democracy, you're anti-fascist by definition. 100%. Like, Antifasciste Action started in 1932 as a response, as a last-ditch effort, I guess. Just, guessing by the timeline. As a last-ditch effort to push back against fascism before Hitler came into power in 1933. A day late and a dollar short. But nonetheless. They're so brainwashed that they're tricked into supporting fascism. Tricked isn't even the right word. Propagandized. Yeah, because, like, fascism relies on that, right? Fascism relies on the idea of warping reality. Fascism relies on the idea of warping the meaning of words, right? That's what fascism does. It warps the meaning of words. Actually, the left are the real fascists. You know what I mean? What happened to the Restream bot? It should be there. I see you guys. It should be. I'll do a test right now. Test. Yeah, there it is. Look, I put it into Restream and it went everywhere. I see it. I see you all, so you're good.
No, I'm for Republican.
Are you against fascism like everybody who fought in World War II was?
Everybody who fought in World War II was not against fascism.
Wait, actually, that's kind of true. Wait a minute. Hold on. Gramps, Pops has a Pops has a good has a point there. But that's not like, oh, these are getting into the weeds with the overall point. The overall point is that literally, eventually, the liberal order decided that it was threatened enough and kind of gained momentum against fascism. That's what happened. Okay. But the question is whether or not you are a fascist. That's it. Fascism is a right-wing ideology. Last time I checked, yep, hasn't changed.
That's literally what we were fighting against.
You're
No,
confusing
it
me.
wasn't.
Huh? Do you think Hitler was a fascist?
No.
No.
What? Oh my God. Okay, these people are lost in the sauce. These people were lost in the sauce. Tucker admitted that during his interview with the libs of TikTok, when you control the definition of the word, you control the story or something similar. Yeah. Yeah, this is classic fascist. This is a classic fascist play, right? You distort the meaning of words, you distort reality, and nobody knows what's true anymore, and that's good. That's the point. Facts and reality are whatever I make it. Generally speaking, most people who fought against the Nazis were anti-fascists, though. I mean, to a degree, I guess, to fight against the Nazis by definition, right? But I kind of understand. Maybe I'm giving Gramps too much credit here, but we're talking like very, very, very nuanced stuff. I don't think he really thought this one through, given his answer over here with Hitler not being a fascist. Hitler was undeniably a fascist. Like, Nazism is a brand of fascism. Okay, Hitler took a lot of inspiration, not just from not just from what happened in the United States, but also he took a lot of inspiration from Mussolini. When they feel like you're trying to trick them, they lie. The status quo full of shit.
Wait a minute. You don't think Hitler was a fascist?
No.
How about Mussolini?
No.
Wait, the guy invented fascism. Like the modern day like word fascism, the modern day like concept of fascism was started in Italy. But Carlin was right when they said fascism won, even though Germany lost the war. You may have a point on that. Am I the only one that can't see RestreamBot? I don't know. I mean, I see RestreamBot, and I think everyone else should be able to see. Like, let me type. Look, it should pop up on your end if I type from Twitch, right? Like, let's say I do this, right? Boop. It should pop up for you guys as RestreamBot if I type from the Twitch side. There it is. Okay, cool. Mussolini literally called his party fascist. Yeah. Now we do. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, he literally coined like that was the modern day, like the genesis of what fascism is in the early 19s, right? Like 1920s or whatever. That all came from Mussolini. That is crazy delay ad on a bot.
Mussolini literally made the first fascist party. Okay. Woo!
Oh boy, we're cooked, folks. We're freaking cooked, man. We are cooked. If this is the level of like of delusion or deception, I'm not sure, but I don't think it matters to try to suss what is what. But if that's the level that we're operating in, yeah, we're cooked. 1 second, folks. Is the picture in the back supposed to have a meaning or something? The fellow using the MAGA hat? No, this is just a person's parents, I think. Versa fascists make everyone really ignorant and dumb. They prepared really well for the takeover. Yep. Yeah, funny enough, that's true. Mussolini started as a communist and somehow decided that fascism was the way to go. I hope you feel better, Soul Life.
Watched Chad Colgin try to reason with his MAGA parents, Bob and Mary Lou, but there was just no getting through to them, as you saw. And across social media, there's this growing trend of creators like Chad who talk about the difficulty in maintaining a relationship with their MAGA parents, while others directly just challenge them on camera, as Chad did. And this niche form of content is incredibly popular because I think that it is cathartic to see others experience something that they're also struggling with. And when I say struggling, I mean they really are struggling. One Reddit user in the therapy subreddit described how depressing it was to feel like they had to mourn their MAGA parents who were still alive. So it's got to be incredibly validating to see other people talk about how their parents also became increasingly cruel and detached from reality, because our parents have such a formative role in our lives, obviously. They help shape who we are as people. So watching them get sucked into this fascist political cult has got to be extremely traumatizing. So the kind of content that Chad and others like him produce probably helps a lot of people to cope. But aside from the usefulness of this type of content, it's also just really entertaining because it exposes how goddamn fucking stupid these people are. And on that note, getting back to Chad, he has an entire YouTube channel where he has long form discussions with his MAGA parents and tries to challenge their beliefs and tries to get them to see the flaws in their own logic. But it just doesn't work because they're basically glorified NPCs only programmed to spit out the latest Fox News talking points. For example, listen to their take on the government shutdown. It's going to be as predictable as you'd expect.
Mom, who do you blame for the shutdown?
The Democrats.
Why is that?
They wanted to include.
No, this is
It
not a
was
bit. Like
an
I know like that we live. I know that, and trust me, I wish this was a bit. But these people exist. These are real people.
amount. I don't even know what the amount was. $1 billion for aid, healthcare to illegals.
That's not true.
Now, if you don't think we're paying for illegal healthcare right now,
What you've said is not true.
what Republicans do not want is the people that came across the border that are healthy, that are illegals, to be given, here's your card, go get your free health care.
They don't do that. That does not exist. That doesn't exist.
Okay.
You believe it does because the Republicans are saying that, but that is literally a lie.
Pure insanity. Most Democrats still don't support free healthcare for American citizens, but you think that the entire party literally shut down the government to offer healthcare that's free at the point of service specifically to immigrants? That's what you believe? Have you seen one of these free healthcare cards that they're supposedly giving away? Can you describe one of them? It's just their entire system of belief is based on fiction. But at the same time, even though they know nothing, they are extremely arrogant. It's Dunning-Kruger in effect. But this is consistent with all MAGA parents. A different TikToker who posts 20 to 30-second clips every day where he asks his mom different questions about politics demonstrates how, she just refuses to believe anything that contradicts her worldview. He'll give her a fact, and she just denies that fact. Case in point.
What do you think about Trump being best friends with Epstein, Mother?
That is bullshit, and you know it.
It's not.
It most certainly is. He had nothing to do with Epstein.
So he ain't on the flight logs, though.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
What do you think about groceries being up since Trump took office?
Nick, groceries have been high since COVID.
But why aren't they coming down? What do you think about Trump cutting Medicaid, Mother?
I think it is a great thing. People need to work if they're able to work.
Do you
This
think
is
also
so
cutting
this is so ghoulish, man. Like, how do you think that a certain group of people how do you think that a group of people do or don't deserve health care? like, it doesn't matter if you are legal or not. You are still a human being. You still deserve healthcare. Yeah, she's just repeating what they say. Yeah, and like that's the thing though. Like, you know, we've been reading this book about this the only American woman who was executed by the Nazis in what is it, 1943. She was was it Wisconsin? She was from Wisconsin of all places. And she traveled to Germany and became part of a resistance movement in Germany. And she was describing all the stuff that was happening right up until the lead up until the Nazis actually took power. About how people were describing the others, meaning Jewish people, how the Nazis were targeting working class people who weren't that educated. How the Nazis slowly but surely creeped into power. How the media failed and blew off Hitler as some kind of incompetent clown, which he was. But the problem is that this clown has a flamethrower and is threatening to burn down the country. That's literally the problem here, and nobody took him seriously. Only a very, very, very few handful of people. I think it was the Washington Times. The Washington Post or the New York Times. I'm sorry. Started to write about how Hitler, could be dangerous. But unfortunately, I think it was a little too late. Yeah. By then, the Nazi party had grown its ranks rather quickly. And sure enough, from what was a small, less than 3% or something like that. It was like literally like the original Nazi party before it became the Nazi party was like not that big. It was literally not that big. 2000s. Does he talk sense into her? I don't know. Nadia, welcome. Release the Epstein files. Wisconsin, yes. Okay, yes. So I got it. I got my memory correct. And all of this is so scary, right? Like listening to her account of like this doddering old fool of President Hindenburg, who just kind of like wasn't up to the task. He was like 84 years old. 84. Hey, a quick question: how old is Biden? He was just like this 84-year-old dude who just wasn't up to the task to stand up to the Nazis. And I mean, like it's just very, 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 very scary. The U.S. took 0 German Jewish refugees during the war, fatally turning away boats. Yeah, that also happened during when the war started. Yes, for a while. The Nazi Party's official name was the NSDAP. Yes. But before that, it was something else. It was the Germans Worker Party or something like that. It was something else.
20% from NOAA and NWS is good.
No, I'm not doing this. You want to go straight to NOAA because you're a punk.
That's what I thought.
I won't say what you are.
That's what I thought.
No.
Oh, you say he's on the Epstein client list? No, he's not. Oh, you say that grocery prices are still high? Well, they've been high since COVID, so it's not Trump's fault, even though he promised to lower prices on day one. In a different TikTok that I didn't play for you around April, he was asking her about the stock market after it crashed when Donald Trump introduced his first round of tariffs. And he asked his mom, who do you think's responsible for the stock market crash? And she blamed Biden and Kamala. In other words, there's just no getting through to these people. They refuse to engage with facts that challenge their worldview, which is why it's so hard to get them to leave the cult. And that was the experience of this TikToker who had dinner with her MAGA parents that she hadn't talked to for 8 years. Just listen to what she has to say.
We had this like weird dinner with my parents, and I was very shocked and also reassured to find that 8 years later, zero personal growth has taken place. I mean, we're talking like, this is almost a decade, okay? And everything that happened economically and everything that happened politically and even just like what we may have gone through in 8 years as individuals, they are the same people. Just total problematic behavior. Racism, homophobic, fucking sexist, misogynist, the whole 9 yards. Like, they are completely brainwashed by legacy media. Completely. There is zero critical thinking going on at all. And you can see where my mom, like, the gears are kind of trying to grind, but they're not quite making the cut because the machine is just so very old and outdated, and those skills have never been utilized. And I just, like, for anybody out there who's wondering, like, when this whole nightmare is going to be over and when they're going to get their parents back, like, when are we going to see the end of this train wreck? It's when the boomers expire. When the conservative boomers expire, that is going to be the end of it. Your parents are not coming back. Those people are gone. You may as well go ahead and let that shit go.
That is so bleak, but I understand why she feels that way. These people pushed away their own family to be part of a political...
Yes, her name was Mildred Harnack, the only American woman executed in World War II. Yes, that is it. Her and her husband were a big part of some kind of, I think it was the Red Orchestra. The Red Orchestra. Here to our DR2 lurk. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Man, maybe Red Orchestra is a video game too. Nice. AI not only erodes the kid's ability to develop critical thinking, but when they age into adults, they'll be these people. Jesus. Oh man, I hope exactly that happens. Not like Nadia's saying, like there is a big bubble, I think. And I hope that kind of comes all crashing. I don't know. You have to play as the Soviets fighting the Germans. Okay, this makes 100% sense.
Cold, and it doesn't matter how hard they try, they simply cannot get through to them. A different TikToker talks about how she tried to maintain her relationship with her MAGA parents by creating boundaries, specifically where they don't talk about politics whenever they're around each other, but she explains how that actually made things worse somehow, and explains that during the Hitler salute that Elon Musk did at Trump's inauguration, that was kind of the breaking point for her. And she decided to, change course at that point. But just listen.
I can't decide if having the boundary not to discuss politics with my parents was a good idea or a really bad idea. It was a hard line in the sand my brother and I both had to draw a few years ago. I think especially after J6, it was like we can't even discuss the two different realities we live in, so let's just not discuss it at all. And it did appear to make things better because we weren't arguing about politics. To be clear, it's never my brother and I arguing with our parents about politics. It's my dad making everything political, even like your favorite type of cookie is a gay liberal choice, apparently. And by saying, like, do not talk about this stuff, do not bring anything up, I feel like it just made my dad more radical and isolated him from probably the two only sources of his life that have like an actual perspective.
I mean, would it be this is me playing like, because I don't know these people, but would it be would it have mattered? Would it have mattered? Like, even if she was constantly like pushing back, would it have mattered to someone who was deep in the MAGA cult? Because I don't I don't know. I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have. There was this woman whose mother used to follow Trump around, and when he was campaigning, she had a health emergency, so she had to pick her up and put her in a hospital. And later, yikes! Sorry, folks. The bot is down, folks. The bot is down, so I'm gonna have to do something here. Maybe I can go to my channel and just look at YouTube individually. Okay. YouTube acts a channel for scams and he can't get a manual review. The reply he got from YouTube's Twitter account was, "Sorry, we're not happy, we understand," or something. That's horrible. I know that they're streaming on that he's streaming on Twitch now. In a mental hospital for almost 2 months, and then she started thinking for herself. Wow. Anyways, yeah, sorry folks, the chat is all kind of busted. So I'm just gonna read all your individual messages. You sorry folks, you will be segregated from Twitch chat, unfortunately. So I will be looking at Twitch chat on one side, and I will be looking at YouTube chat on the other. I don't know. It's been really weird because the Restream bot seemed to have had problems from the beginning, but whatever. Whatever, it is what it is, folks. I'm just gonna take it in as it is. Oh no, wait, I think it is. I think the Restream bot is happening, but I think that oh, okay, so the Restream bot's not the problem. It's, as usual, OBS that is not showing me all the messages in one place. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. We'll just roll with it. We'll just roll with it. Anyways. But it took all that to get her back to normal. Yeah, I mean, and that is a very edge case that she was even able to get pulled back. That is an edge case that she was able to get pulled back. But a lot of these people don't. A lot of these people don't. It doesn't matter how much you interact with them. It doesn't matter if you cut all contact and then decide to talk to them again. Then they're still probably going to be the same MAGA, right? Like it's not, it's not like that's going to change, unfortunately. So I don't know. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day to all. Yeah, look, I'm wearing my my shirt. It says the part of history we must never forget. Bozy, welcome. How does the OBS chat show all the chats to streamers when API is limited to 10,000 tokens per day? I don't know what the voodoo is, but so I use something called Restream. That's why you see the Restream bot. Basically it just kind of funnels both chats together, and I can see everything. Just right there. But unfortunately, it seems to not be working right now. No supported channels enabled. Okay. Whatever. I can see it through this side, so it is what it is, and the bot itself is still forwarding the chat messages to each other, so Godspeed. It works.
Perspective on reality. By the time inauguration came around and Elon did his Roman salutes, I could not stand it anymore. I had to ask my dad, like, tell me you saw. Tell me you know what that is and that you acknowledge that that's what that is.
Nope.
And he couldn't do it.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like, again, like even drawing that no contact, even drawing that no contact, right? Do you think that he would have been a less of a MAGA or more of a MAGA? I don't think that's a possibility. I don't think that's how that works. I think that once you're in that cult, you're in that cult. If you want to get out of that cult, then you are out, and that is a decision that person has to make. I don't know.
Got mad at me for even making the suggestion. That's not a like ask your fiance, he'll tell you. Oh, ask a man, he'll tell you. And he actually said to me that Kamala is the fascist. Kamala is the one who's going to oppress, would have oppressed. I can't even form the words to like replicate what he said to me. I guess the whole point of me saying this, if anyone like is familiar with my little corner of the internet, I talk about emotionally abusive, neglectful, emotionally unintelligent parents and that effect it can have on us. And I haven't posted a lot of content because I decided that day that until you can tell me what's happening in this world with like an ounce of reality and realism, then I'm not speaking to you, because I cannot associate, I cannot be around fascist sympathizers.
That one was really hard for me to watch because you can actually hear the pain in her voice when she talks about this. Her and her brother tried to find some sort of a compromise with their parents so they can have some semblance of a relationship with them, at least with their father. And it still became untenable. And he seemingly became antagonistic towards his own children. And this is another thing that is driving the pain that people with MAGA parents are feeling, just the complete lack of respect for their kids.
But yeah, like that's kind of the thing, right? Like as flawed as my right-wing boss is, when he saw his party do Charlottesville on January 6th, he said he wanted to stand with those people and became a moderate and still votes for them though. So like it doesn't do me any good, right? Like that literally, like you might as well be with them if... You know, you can't say that those aren't your people and then you vote for the party that those people support. Like if you really didn't support what happened in Charlottesville and in January 6th and all this Nazi shit that's happening in the country, then at the very least you would say, well, I'm not voting for Republicans anymore. I don't like, you know what I mean? Like that would be it. That would be that would be the no-brainer answer, right? They don't know what fascist means at the far right is like literally the first words of the definition. Yeah, but you don't have to, yeah, or I don't know if you're talking about your boss, but yeah, these people, like the thing is, like fascism does warp people's brains. It literally wants you, it literally does everything in its power to make sure that that you don't know what fascism means, right? It warps reality. That's how this works. That's why you hear fascist call leftist fascist. That's why you hear Donald Trump refer to the Democrats as radical socialist, communist, fascist. You know? It's hard, but you just have... Welcome, Brasmo. Again, sorry, folks, that the restream stuff isn't really working. I'll try to read as many of these messages as possible. You have to disassociate with those types. I've lost one friend forever. Yeah, and it's not easy, folks. It's not easy. My chat was glitched. I was watching Don Lemon's live, but typing in this chat. Huh. If Antifa is a terrorist group, will they be rounding up the last few World War II vets?
No concern whatsoever. A different TikToker explains how disrespectful her MAGA father was being to her after she reached out to him after the big bullshit bill was signed into law because she was worried that he would lose his health care. And the response that she got really frustrated her because it illustrates that these people are so rotten.
Conservatives aren't great at nuance, true.
Or they don't think about anybody but themselves, don't care about anybody but themselves. Just listen.
So this all started because I sent him a video of someone that was going through and reading the sections of the big beautiful bill that are going to negatively impact people, and I did this because I care about him and I wanted him to be like informed if this is going to affect him, you know, because like I don't know what medical care he has. I just wanted him to be aware, so I sent it to him and all I said is, this is a long one but important, nothing else. And this is what he had to say. I'm sorry, honey, but I can't believe that you believe this bull. This is exactly the same lies that the Democratic Party has been telling you for the last 10 years. I don't know who you is in this scenario because I was 15 10 years ago, all right? I was worried about my relationships with boys and my grades in high school. Every time you hear something, it's doom and gloom, and every terrible thing is going to happen. But it's all lies. Please wake up and quit being one of the sheep that follows the herd and believes everything you hear. Now, this clearly upset me because I don't speak to people like that.
I mean, like this would send me into a freaking rage, man. This would send me into an internal rage. Okay, because like to just be disregarded. Look, me, and I'm sure that like the broad spectrum of the left TM who have been talking about this since like ever and a half, who have been constantly disregarded, who have been constantly told that we're exaggerated, who have been constantly told that that what is happening isn't happening. You know what I mean? Like what we're hearing isn't what we're hearing. What we're seeing isn't what we're seeing. Like, dude, this is just. This would send me into internal rage. This is wild.
So I do not allow people to speak to me.
Just be told that like, oh, stop believing what you're seeing. Like that, what you're seeing and what you're reading isn't happening. What?
Me like that. And so I responded with, Dad, do not speak to me that way. I sent that because I care about you and don't want you to be negatively impacted. Do not speak to me in such a belittling and disgusting way. I'm your daughter. Your daughter. He then responds with, I'm sorry, honey, but I don't believe a word they say anymore. Who is they? Who are we talking about?
Yeah, they're talking about like the they. I don't know to what extent like her father is may or may not be a Nazi, but usually what they mean is like the Democrats, right? Like the Democratic establishment. What the upper echelons of the far right mean is Jewish control over the, you know, whatever, like the Jewish question, right? So that's what the they means. Degenerate Art with Andrea Pritzker did a show and talked about how she interviewed people from former Latin American dictatorships. That's cool. It's that part, is that they, Mac, are beyond decency and logic. How do you get through to someone who refuses to believe the truth? You really don't. You don't. The only thing that you can do, the only thing that you can do is just leave the door open, right? But there's nothing that you could do for that person at that point, because if we're not operating with logic, if we're not operating under a baseline of truth, of reality, then like there's nothing you can do for that person other than, hey, I'm really concerned about the views that you've been espousing. If you ever want to leave the cult, you know, you can talk to me about that. But other than that, like that's GG. They have to make that conscious decision. We have to win despite them, not try to win them. We have to win in spite of them. So yeah, like trying to reach out to those people, trying to change their minds at this point in time is a fool's errand. If it, like no disrespect, if you have the ability to do that with like a friend, or if you have the ability to do that with a family member and it's working, great. But as a collective force, to try to change these people's minds shouldn't be on the priorities. It should be trying to wake up people who don't like fascism. Is try to wake up the normies. Is try to snap some of the well-meaning liberals who may still be who may still be against fascism for the right reasons. For all those normies, all those actual like real what they would call politically inactive or politically what is it? It starts with an A. Apathetic people that don't, you know, that don't really get out there and be politically active as much. Those people need to be activated. Those people need to be on our side. Those people need to say, you know what? Yeah, you know what? That is true. I don't want my neighbors disappearing in the middle of the night via federal freaking raid with helicopters and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't want my fellow neighbor to be disappeared. I don't want children being separated from families. Yeah, I don't want my rights being stripped away one by one. Yeah, and I don't want a totalitarian government. Like those people, we need those people active and in the streets. We need those people active and in the streets. But Jank said we should have a beer with them. If you like believing, it's like if you believe in abortion is killing a human baby, they would do anything to stop abortions. Thus, MAGA think leftists and Democrats will destroy the country, and they are fascists. Yeah, exactly. While being the fascists, 100%. My boss doesn't like Trump, but there's a group of people that bash Trump will get defensive and start whataboutisming Democrats, but with no specific criticisms. But like that kind of doesn't do me any good, right? Like you might as well just support Trump. You might as well just come out and say you support Trump, because like it functionally makes no difference. If you say like oh I don't like Trump, I don't like what he does and I don't like what he says, but then like when you're like okay well can we vote against them? Can we take action against them? Like make sure that the midterms, we try to blow these people out of the water. Can we like get some protests going? Can we get your can we get you on board with some anti-fascist action? Meaning opposing this regime. You know what I mean? Like, and the answer is like, but what about Democrats? And like, okay, dude, functionally like it doesn't. Functionally, you're doing, functionally you're doing the same thing. As just saying that you support Trump. Jank and Anna are not with us. No invite to the truly progressive BBQ. Yeah, I agree. Pritzker's results were that the same people who got swept into supporting the dictator supported them the rest of their lives. It's a cult. It's a cult, and most of them just don't. Most of them just don't get out of it. I suspect that there's going to be some people, but a lot of people that are true diehard MAGA people, because these are all the same. Like this is all the same timeline. We've seen this before, right? All the diehard Nazis didn't just like disavow Nazism. All the diehard Nazis didn't just like disavow Nazism, right? That's not how that worked. Clearly, right? And they also inculcated their children into supporting them. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt about it. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Yeah, like, and the same thing now that we're seeing in 2025, the people that are diehard MAGA, and I mean like MAGA, like full on, the red hat, the shirt, the truck with the obnoxious flag. I mean like the diehard MAGA. Those people, 99% of them are not going to get out of that. Some will, but the overwhelming, they just don't. Nadia's right. A lot of them just won't. That's why there's no point. There's, first of all, like the real actual diehard MAGA movement isn't that as big as like the country. Okay, it's not. It's just big enough. And that's why the focus should be waking up the people that are politically inactive, waking up the people that otherwise would be out on the street protesting, right? Like that's the people that need to be activated. Like there's no point in trying to waste energy into trying to pull MAGA people out. It's just a losing battle. The Three Arrows just did a great video about Charlie Kirk and fascism. I saw it. I literally just saw it yesterday. Like progressive is a bad word. At least populist is more honest of a word than progressive when it comes to where their views are. There were many more experiments into madness than just the NS regime and interwar Italy.
Because I'm pretty sure the people in that video that I sent him were, number one, not politicians. Number two, do not side with either Republican or Democratic Party. Like, they're just people reading the bill.
This is why it's so difficult for them to have a relationship with their MAGA parents, because you can't talk to them. They take everything as an attack. And she goes on to explain in that TikTok that she didn't send him that information as some sort of a gotcha or to belittle him or to prove that she was right and he was wrong. She sent it to him out of a general concern because she was afraid that he would be affected by the big bullshit bill. And in a different text that he sent to her that she shared, he says, well, look, how about this? If it negatively affects me, I'll admit that I was wrong. But she didn't want him to just be like, oh, okay, if this negatively affects me, I'll concede that it's bad. She wanted him to care about other people that this affected as well, and explains that it's wrong to just not have regard for the well-being of others. I'm paraphrasing, but you can watch the full TikTok. I'll link to her channel down below. But like, what she's dealing with is the unabashed cruelty of MAGA parents, which is so hard for children to digest because a lot of people idolize their parents and try to embrace the values that they've instilled into them. So it's hard to watch the people who raised you and taught you everything turn into these spiteful assholes. And that's something that Chad showcased about his parents in a conversation about Greta Thunberg.
How about Greta Thunberg? How about that? Patriot of the Year.
What are you laughing at, Dad? Do you know what happened to her?
No.
Yeah. She got hosed down.
She was on a boat carrying aid to people in Gaza.
She got hosed down.
The Israeli military stopped their boat, detained them all, beat the shit out of her, made her crawl on the ground, kiss an Israeli flag, and have now detained her.
Good.
She's only 22, by the way.
Was she American?
She's that dipshit that started all this crap a long time ago.
Started what? Who cares? Like, see, like, this is the problem. Like, you know, like, these people's minds have been warped so freaking bad that, like, is she an American? Like, oh, who cares? Like, what are you talking about? She's still a human being and being mistreated and tortured by the Israeli government. Like, that's not okay. That is not okay under any circumstance, whether it was an American citizen or not an American citizen or whoever. They play a weird game with how they separate themselves from leftism while also claiming to be real leftists and everyone else is overwoke. Amazing. Pritzker's results were based on a number of different countries. I mean, I gotta check that out at some point. Have they released the footage? No, I don't think so. Get up! Alright, I'm gonna get up and just take like literally like a 5-second walk around the studio. And I will be right back. And we got to after this, we gotta go through these 3 articles like really quickly. I'm talking like lightning run, and then we're heading out to the majority report. Hang tight, folks. It'll just be like 5 seconds. I just need to do a quick lap around the studio just so I get up. It won't even take that long, folks. Zigo, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. That's right. It's not just a sample size of 1 or 2. The Axis installed many regimes across Europe and Spain and Portugal arrived on their own. Yep. Hanging in there, folks. Hanging in there, Zigo. What state are you from? Yes. France, Greece, Hungary, Norway, Poland, and Ukraine also had such regimes.
What crap did she start, Dad?
All that woke business.
Oh,
What
yeah.
business?
Yeah. Greta Thunberg was the genesis of woke business.
What did she do?
You know what she did?
Do
Oh.
you know what she did? Is what I'm asking.
Yes, I do.
Then what was it?
I
Woke business?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
She protests for it's climate change advocacy.
Yeah, that is woke business apparently.
It's
It doesn't matter what your feelings are on the matter. The climate crisis exists whether or not you believe in it.
the genocide in Gaza.
And Dad, you're shitting on her. You don't even know what she did. That was clear.
Yeah, I do.
That clip is crazy to me.
I mean, like, okay, we're gonna just kind of pause it here because we gotta get moving on some of these articles. But geez, man, it is so infuriating, man. If you're right wing, then you believe in some pretty horrible stuff. Their worldview is what they're told it is, and not what they live. It's their lack of critical thinking. But like, yeah, but that's the point exactly. I would be considered right wing, I think. I mean, I don't know how like things are in Serbia, but yeah, usually the right wing is pretty garbage. The right wing just wants to destroy. That is it. That's all they care about. Nationalism and the destruction of people. You don't like fascism, then you probably don't like where the right wing ends. Like, do you think that fascism just like starts at like far right like camps? Nationalism doesn't equal fascism. It 100% is a huge tenet. Nationalism and patriotism are two. You're describing three different words. Nationalism absolutely is a tenet of fascism. Although just because you are a nationalist doesn't always mean that you're a fascist. It is a tenet. It is a tenet of fascism. And patriotism is different than nationalism. That's why they're different words. Nationalism is loving your country and not liking some other countries. Probably on racial grounds. Fascism is thinking you're supreme over others. Nope, that's not what fascism is. Oh, there is an element of fascism that believes that, that requires that thinking, but that is not entirely what fascism entails. It is a far-right totalitarian government that often is made on national lines. Sometimes, like in the Nazi case, it was on racial lines. It is overhyped nationalism, is what it is. A totalitarian, nationalistic, far-right government that has blended capital and state power into this totalitarian regime. You can be right-wing and against fascism. The right-wing ideology always leads to fascism. You think that fascism just springs out? No, there's levels to this. Right wing is just right. Yeah, and the right wing ideology always leads to fascism. Why? If you overdo it. You're just proving my point. If you overdo it. Exactly. So then that means that the right wing is a precursor to fascism. You're literally proving my point. The right wing is a precursor to fascism. But I'm not overdoing it. But your ideology leads to fascism. The reason why the right wing leads to fascism is because it upholds capital, and capitalism in crisis leads to fascism. You don't understand what communism is. That's the problem. You just don't understand what communism is. But you can try to do whataboutism and not acknowledge the point that I just made. You can do that and try to squirm your way out of that by saying, well, what about communism? What about communism? Instead of actually acknowledging the exact point that you made for me, by the way. You made that for me. Overdoing the right wing leads to fascism. Yes, which means my point that right wing ideology leads to fascism. It always does. It always does, because the right wing upholds capital, and capitalism eventually goes into crisis, and when it does, it opens the door for fascism. The Axis name for itself was the Anti-Communist Pact. Yep, I believe that. There are also several types of communism too. Yeah, but like it's not even like trying to fight that point. It's more like, why can't you acknowledge that the right wing inevitably leads to fascism when they just admitted that it is a precursor to fascism. Like it is a requirement to be right wing. So why would you go down that path? Like, oh, I'm just going to dabble on a little bit of fascism. Like, no, every conservative, okay, whether or not like they actually believe in like the full like tenets of fascism, all of those people paved the road for fascism. All of them. Okay, all of them, stone by stone, make the path for fascism. And you're not going to win this fight with me, because I literally have studied all of this shit. I've been doing this for a long time. I know this stuff. Okay, that's why I can debate it so well. I mean, like, literally, you made my points for me. Unbelievable. You could even be a moderate liberal conservative, but there's no such thing as that in America anymore. Yeah, and like even like your Ezra Kleins, right? Like your most like liberals of liberals, right? Like your Ezra Kleins, who I don't think that Ezra Klein is like a fascist, but even those people, like, because they are right wing by definition, they do their part, and you can read how he talks, laying the little stone, the little pavers that lead the way to fascism. Okay, saying stuff like Charlie Kirk did politics right. You know what I mean? The right way. Stuff like that is what I'm criticizing. Not that doesn't mean that all liberals operate under this standard, but I'm saying that even like those like right wing, center right people, do their part without being a fascist, right? Does that make sense? You could even be, oh yeah, I read this. I'm nowhere near the explosion that happened in Berlin, by the way. What the heck? What happened? Do you know what happened? Yeah, center right guy. And even then, they do their part. They do their part. Even the center right people. They simply don't oppose, and that's enough. And that's enough. Just like what Soul Life was describing earlier. I'm not a Trump guy. I'll still vote Republican, though. About 600 CDC employees were fired, so that's cool. Dealing with health statistics, injury, and violence prevention, congressional outreach, and human research out of work as a result of Trump administration's mass layoff as of Friday. By the way, folks, before we move on, this is, by the way, like the same people that are pushing this anti-vax nonsense. Trump has just gotten his COVID booster shot. Just to be clear. Looks like it was some kind of gas line getting ignited by an accidental building fire. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm glad you're okay, because that's scary stuff. That's scary stuff. A growing number of veterans face arrest over ICE protests. Another way of describing this is more and more veterans are standing up. More and more veterans are going out to protest. U.S. military veterans are increasingly facing arrest and injury amid protests over Trump's deportation campaign and his push to deploy National Guard members to an ever-widening number of American cities. The Guardian has identified at least 8 instances where military veterans have been prosecuted or sought damages after being detained by federal agents. The last incident occurred in Broadview, outside of Chicago, where a 7-year-old Air Force veteran, Dana Briggs, was charged with felony assault on a federal officer on September 29th. A widely shared viral video on social media shows a masked goon advancing and knocking over the elderly veteran during a protest outside an ICE detention center. Excuse me. Federal prosecutors claim Briggs committed assault when he made physical contact with the agent's arm. Yeah, okay, what a bunch of babies. Let's be real. What a bunch of babies. Are there any sites to tell you which states are still allowing the people get COVID boosters? I don't know. I guess you'd have to really see, like, in your area, I guess. Biggs pleaded not guilty and then was released on appearance bond. Jose Vasquez, a former U.S. Staff Sergeant and Executive Director of Progressive Veterans Organization, Common Defense, which counts Briggs as a member, said veterans like Briggs have stood up to ICE protests and face arrest because we recognize a pattern of state-sanctioned abuse. Another veteran, John Cerrone, was arrested while protesting outside the Broadview ICE detention center day before Briggs. The social media video shows a group of masked ICE agents tackling the 35-year-old Marine Corps veteran who served as the as combat infantryman in Afghanistan as tear gas floats in the air. I mean, like, yeah, we love our veterans, don't we? Yeah. Yeah. Cerrone said he was held for 9 hours at the Broadview facility, alone in a cell with walls covered by blood and hair and mucus. He said that while he was behind bars, he was visited by an ICE agent who boasted that he had shot Cerrone in the head with rubber bullets and explained, where is that? He's talking to a Marine Corps combat veteran, by the way. Like, do you think that any of these, like, ICE babies, well, I mean, I guess that's an insult to babies, but these weak men, okay, these weak thugs, do you think that he would actually say that face to face to this Marine Corps combat veteran in a different circumstance? That is scary, Nadia. That is terrifying. Their conduct was completely unprofessional in my experience in the combat infantry. Even in Afghanistan, we had very clear rules of engagement. The conduct of these agents, such as if it occurred in Afghanistan, they would have been removed from the front line. They would have been court-martialed. Cerrone was released after receiving a citation for, quote, exhibiting disorderly conduct on federal property, a misdemeanor under federal law, which he plans to contest. The White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson told The Guardian anyone who assaults or otherwise harms law enforcement will be held accountable. Yeah, sure, whatever, dude. Yeah, whatever. Ice, baby. Jackson, the department did not provide data to back up its claims about a 1,000% increase on assaults against ICE agents or whatever. What a bunch of babies. A brief reply to the question from The Guardian, the Department of Justice spokesperson saying, under this administration, we followed the law. That's not true at all. That is not true at all. And have a one-tier system of justice. That is not true at all. That is, come on, be for real. Like, does anybody think realistically that this country operates under a one-tier justice system under Donald Trump? In a statement in the wake of Briggs' arrest, Dami Pellick, a Illinois Army National Guard member who is running as a Democrat for state legislative seat in Chicago, criticized ICE agents for their lack of training. As a military member, I can tell you the way they handle weapons is reckless and dangerous. I've seen ICE agents with their fingers on the trigger of real M16 pointing M9s directly at people. Very trigger happy. No trigger discipline. With this level of escalation and incompetence, people will die. And I think that's pretty much the point here. No, it's nowhere near, but I realize people might wonder because I'm in Berlin. That is wild. I'm just glad that you're okay. I'm waiting for protesters to realize their masks are made from cloth that absorbs pepper spray. All right, real quick. This one's going to be a speed run because this is an important case that the Supreme Court is going to inevitably take. How do I refresh this? A Republican attack on a core provision of the Voting Rights Act that is designed to protect racial minorities comes to the Supreme Court this week, folks. This week, to the Supreme Court this week, more than a decade after the justices knocked out another pillar of the 60-year-old law. In arguments on Wednesday, lawyers for Louisiana and the Trump administration will try to persuade the justices to wipe away the state's second majority black congressional district and make it much harder, if not impossible, to take account of race in redistricting. The race-based redistricting is fundamentally contrary to the Constitution, said Louisiana Attorney General Elizabeth Murrow wrote in the state's Supreme Court filing. A mid-decade battle over congressional redistricting is already playing out across the nation after President Trump began urging Texas and other Republican-controlled states to redraw their lines to make it easier for the GOP. This is wild. This is wild. Like, reading this out loud is wild. Reading this out loud is wild. To make it easier for GOP to hold its narrow majority in the House of Representatives, a ruling for Louisiana could intensify that effort and spill over to state legislative and local districts. By the way, if I remember correctly, I saw an analysis on the possible ramifications or fallout from this type of from this case. They could possibly pull about 19 seats across the board. I don't mean 19 seats in Louisiana. I mean across the board. And that could be problematic. A conservative-dominated court in just 2 years ended affirmative action in college admissions could be receptive. At the center of the legal fight is Chief Justice John Roberts, who has long had the civil rights mark in his sights from the time as a young lawyer in the Reagan-era Justice Department to his current job. We will see. But this is not a very good position. The fact that they've been doing this little by little, as I've said before, death by 1,000 rulings, or death by 1,000 decisions. Death by 1,000 Supreme Court decisions. Little by little, what was supposed to be the Voting Rights Act is probably, for all intents and purposes, almost nearly defunct. This is a project that they've been working on for decades. This is not a new thing. This is not a new thing. And they're going to keep doing it until it's done. The Supreme Court is not a legitimate institution. It is acting against the Constitution. It is acting against everything that supposedly on paper, right, like how we were taught, everything that this country supposedly, quotation marks, stands for, and have no problem just consolidating the power to the president. Trump is considering sending the federal student loan debts to private investors. Yeah, which would be terrible. As a household with student debt over here, we are terrified. We are terrified. And the Democrats just allowed it to happen. Yeah, Fed zero. Like they just did not meet the moment. They just could not meet the moment. And for the same reason that our troll over here, was saying earlier, being center right does play your part in fascism. Just because the Democrats aren't fascist doesn't mean they don't play their part. Now, does that mean like the Democrats want fascism? I don't think so. But that is not my belief. But certainly their inability to fight fascism comes from that very same conversation that we were having. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, Nadia. The Dems aren't good faith actors either. Oh, no, I'm not saying that the Dems are good faith. I'm just saying that I don't believe that they want fascism. I don't think that they want fascism. I think that they think... I mean, it's kind of silly to run this exercise, but I think that they think that it's going to be fine. And they can just get back to business as usual and get back to brunch as soon as the fever breaks, right? And much like, you know, the center right parties and the liberal parties in the 1920s and 30s before Hitler came into power, much thought like, oh, this is just going to be over. You know, the real problem is these lefty loony people that are screaming and screeching about fascism. Those are the real problem, and they're threatening our business interests here. The economy's gone. So yeah. I mean, that's all she wrote, right? So again, I'm not saying that the Democrats are fascists. I'm not saying that they want fascism. I'm saying that they just can't meet the moment for the same reason, because they are center-right. And because of that, they are agents of capital, and that's it. The Genevieve, the bro wine mom lady, did a segment on leaked papers exposed how Dems have been helping Republicans during all this mess. Yeesh. Democratic Leadership Council that clinched Clinton on today over the DNC in the 80s was coked bankrolled. That wouldn't surprise me at all. That wouldn't surprise me at all. They think that they can get back to business as usual. They think that they can control this and that the situation isn't out of hand. They think that the institutions will hold, and they are sorely mistaken. They think that by cutting deals and by pretending and operating as if all of this is normal is gonna issue the results that they want, but it's not, right? They just want to get back to brunch. It's not happening. It's not happening, folks. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. We actually made it to just 7 o'clock. Look at that. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate all of your support. I don't believe that the Dems are far right at all. That's where I just don't think so. Like maybe like Fetterman is, but like I just don't think like the Democrats are like far right people. They're just liberals, and because of that, you know, they're agents of capital. Because of that, they make decisions that are of the right wing. Ground level news. Once again, thank you all for being here. I gotta get out of here. Hang tight, folks. We're heading over to the Majority Report. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you want to support the channel directly, do all the stuff, folks. Check out the merch store. Check out the ! tip, Discord, Substack. Do all the stuff. I'll be back Tuesday. This Thursday, there might not be stream. Probably no stream on Thursday. But yeah, Tuesday at this space. Wednesday back here. But yeah, go check out all the stuff. The Overton window has shifted, and the definition of far right has shifted. Well, no, I mean, like, far right is far right. Like, far right is far right, right? Do all the stuff, folks. There's the links. What is it? All right, let me get out of here, folks. Thank you all for being here. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 7 p.m. on this space. See ya. Hang tight, folks. Well, I don't see that the majority report is live, so it's just going to be whoever. Just like Hindenburg, folks. Just like Hindenburg. We've seen the same song and dance. All right. Well, change of plan, folks. I don't know. I thought the majority report is going live here. Anyways, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.